Well, with no further ado, we are ready to start this 9th match. Well, officially this is the first match of the tournament. This being the match that was abandoned on the first day, and meetings took place to see the best way of dealing with the rest of the tournament, having lost the first 2 matches, and the overriding agreement was to play the full round robin and decide the championship that way. So this is the first match that would have been played on Friday, and it's now the second match today, Monday, last day of the tournament. So in physical terms, this is the 9th match of the tournament. Pits the 2 unbeaten teams in the competition, and I think that tells you all you need to know about the importance of the match. It will decide the competition winners, assuming that there's an outright result. Well, that's been signalled a free hit, so well, that's interesting. Looked to me like the wicketkeeper advanced a long way in taking that ball, or in fact attempted to take that ball. Well, that's been given. This was Saeed. Floated that one up. Looked from where it hit the striker on the outside part of the front pad. To my naked eye, over here at extra cover. No idea what the line was like. But it is the end of Sadali Maluwata, who initially wasn't opening the batting in this tournament, but has been doing so latterly. Great start for Spain, taking a wicket in the first over. One of the players of the tournament, Chaturika Mahamalage, is the number 3 bat. Gets off the mark straight away. Two for 1 off the first over. Represents a good start from Spain. They have chosen Amy Brown Carrera to bowl from the Crocodile Club end. And she's bowling to Sharon Witanagi, also one of the players of the tournament. Tidy over from Amy Brown Carrera. For Spain, they were pleased with this, 7 for 1. Could have our first boundary of the game. Frustratingly for Italy, that ball just holds up inside the rope, well chased down. Two fielders combining forces. Rabia Mushtaq and Wanya Arif Malik, two in pursuit there. Well, it's a wide down the leg side, but again it's one of those opportunities. Have a go. If you miss it, you still get the wide. If you hit it, decent chance of 4. Oh, that's a lovely timed shot through the offside. Sharon Witanage, but that's wide of one of the other players of the tournament. Naomi Hillman Bermejo. Again, an appealing tuck off the legs from Sharon Witanage. Well, it's very interesting that we've got to this stage of the tournament with two unbeaten sides now up against each other, all to play for. And what it means is we've got a number of key matchups here. Chaturika Mahamalige has been all round one of the best players. Amy Brown Carrera has contributed more with ball than bat, but has got some useful runs. Sharon Witanage started as keeper, but has been bowling more. Had a very economical 3-foot earlier in the tournament and has contributed runs regularly. As this is pushed away behind square on the offside. Two and 4 overs with the Italy score on 15 for 1. Oswa Saeed to continue from the Bera end. Nearly creeps through. Detected a bit of inside edge on that one. Bit of pad perhaps also. I think the pad just managed to get it past the off stump. That's crept through. Chaturika Mahamariga has been just struggling to get the ball away, to get the timing, and appeared to have picked out the fielder again, but even with the ball almost making it to the boundary through the misfield, only a single resulting, and takes Italy onto 17 for 1. Correction, 16 for 1. Just that single off the last ball. Well, that's gone away to the boundary. 5 wides. Amy Brown Carrera just losing her line on that occasion. She was player of the match in today's first game for her all-round contribution. Two bowlers going straight through, bowling their full allocation of 4 overs. Certainly not in the modern game, but Spain well on top here, although they would dearly love in this opening spell of 8 overs to get another wicket. Hit away emphatically by Sharon Witanage through square leg for 4. And whilst Italy have had a quiet start up till now, they will be backing themselves on the basis that they're only 1 wicket down into the 8th over. The run rate's not far off 5 per over. So that is the two opening bowlers through their spells. Naught for 22 for Amy Brown Carrera. Just looking back at that shot in that previous over. Very nice pull away from Sharon Witanagi. 35 for 1. Represents a solid platform for Italy. And we're finally, out of necessity, going to see a third bowler. Payal Chilongia, who instantly forces a play and miss from the established Sharon Witanagi. And just Witanagi thinking about coming down and almost yorked herself in the process. Bit of hesitation in the running, but eventually comfortably home for a single. It just feels like a little bit of cat and mouse going out there. There are obviously nerves. This is the crunch game of the tournament. I think now is the time for Italy to start taking a few more risks. Spain lineup boasts arguably one of the two best batters of the tournament in Amy Hillman-Bermejo. There is that also philosophy as this is stroked away. Initially, again, into the second game now. In certain parts of the tournament, I think that would have sped away, so there might still be just a little moisture in the grass. Although it's sunny, it hasn't heated up as much as other days in the tournament. Just 2 runs. Yeah, there is that philosophy in cricket that someone's due a failure, and Naomi Hillman-Bermejo has reached 40 in all 3 of her innings so far in the tournament. She is in form and would expect her to continue that on. She's actually going to have a bowl now. She's contributed well with the ball as well, so she combined very well with Amy Brown Carrera in this tournament. One acting effectively as the bowling all-rounder and one as the batting all-rounder. Recalls days of Richard Hadley and Clive Rice at Nottinghamshire. And Hadley often helped out with useful runs, and Clive Rice chipped in with wickets, but their primary suit being the other in both cases. Championship winning combination for Nottinghamshire as we see a direct hit from mid-wicket, straight mid-wicket. I believe that's Payal Chilongia over there. Well, that was a long half volley, which Sharon Wittanaga, the eyes must have lit up. She looked for something big over extra cover. Didn't make any contact. And another half volley, this time timed very well, but straight at Elspeth Fowler. And stopped. I think there may have been a foot involved. She's hobbling very slightly. She runs down to the other end. Nothing too serious, but I've just taken the fleshy part of the ankle, perhaps, on the top of the foot. Just looking around the field, they've got one out at deep square leg, and they're now pushing sweeper back on the other side and a long off. So 3 fielders outside the circle of the permitted 4. Mahamaligi looks to go for something expansive, doesn't get the timing on it. An enthusiastic appeal from Chilongia. Chilongia. So didn't get the backing of umpire Nilkesh Patel. Still fighting his way through this throat infection, Nilkesh. In a trooper, this is signalled no ball. Must have pitched off the pitch, which is unusual for Payal. She's quite accurate. Free hit, not timed. Out towards deep square leg for a single. This has been signalled a no ball for height. Wild one from Payal Chilongia. So this will be another free hit in the over, so getting a little bit untidy at the moment, and Italy getting themselves back into this match with the assistance of Spain. Free hit time. A little bit better timed on this occasion from Mahamaligi, who takes her score into double figures. Witanagi got away with that one in the air. Didn't time it well at all. Just evaded Saeed, also Saeed at mid wicket. Well, again, appears to be an unofficial drinks break here. Well, on this occasion the umpires are allowing it, and looks like Mark Chappell needs a drink as well. And I don't know what's happening here. There's someone coming out without a bib, without a drink, and quite rightly Mark Chappell sending her off straight away. Uh, 47 for 1, the Italy score after 11 overs in this crucial 9th match played of this quinquilateral ICC 2020 International Women's Series. Coming to you from Desert Springs in the province of Almeria in southern Spain. Playing these teams to either improve their world rankings or establish one. Start of the tournament, just Sweden and Italy had world rankings, with Sweden being at 26 and Italy being at 30. And we should see some changes there because Italy have had much the better of the tournament. They've played more strongly in Sweden. They've had results go their way. Both of these teams, to remind you, unbeaten in the tournament, which, with only one match to go after this, involving Sweden and the Isle of Man, means that this match should decide the destination of the title, who will be champions. At the moment you would say Spain would be happier of the two teams, but we'll mention that caveat again. They've only taken one wicket, and so there is scope, should they so choose, for Italy to go on the attack for the remaining 8.5 overs of this innings. That's very deftly played late by Sharon Wutanagi. Same place, different way of getting it there, from Chaturika Mahamalage. There's a chance of a run out here and not taken. Tasbih Mirza couldn't gather that one, and Tasbih, she's been very good behind the stumps in this tournament. It's almost proved by the lack of times we've mentioned her. She's been very tidy. Good sign of a keeper, or a sign of a good wicket keeper, is that you don't notice them. Not on all occasions, of course, when a spectacular catch is required. They need to be noticed. .56 for 1 after 12 overs. As this is timed to the right of extra cover by Sharon Witanagi. 2 more. And just feel with under 8 overs to go and 9 wickets in hand, the Italy team appear to be pushing on. But they're not getting results, and that overall run rate remains below 5 per over. Seeing Wanya Arif Malik bowling left arm over from the Bera end. This one skied, mistimed and taken by the bowler. Was circling underneath it briefly, looked to be a little lost, but regained her composure and took that relatively comfortably in the end. Wanya Arif Malik takes her first wicket, and that is the end of Chaturika Mahamalagi. End of her tournament with the bat, a successful one. That was the end of the 13th over, so new batter not on strike as yet, and well, came a long way down the pitch there, so nearly achieved the ultimate ignominy of being run out without facing a ball. It is Gayatri Batagoda who has come in. This is hit strongly into the leg side. Naomi Hillman-Bermejo originally gives up the chase, but then sees it plug slightly on the first bounce and decides to give it a go, but not in with a chance of stopping that one. So Sharon Witanagi Moves on to 32 now. Back-to-back fours. Looking well set now, Sharon Watanabe. That's 3 out of 3. Well, Jaspreet Grandkaur manages to break the sequence of fours with that ball. Fours coming off the second, third and fourth ball of her over. She's into damage limitation mode. And just drifting that one wide of off stump, wide of the tram line, so we'll have to re-bowl that one. So that's 2 to finish the over, 15 off it. 74 for 2, so Italy have now got their run rate up above 5 per over, and we're looking to get that up to 6 and beyond in the remaining 6 overs of this innings.
You don't have anyone company here. My player Pooja, she wants to.
You don't want to do it?
I will do it. Well, she wants to speak, so I thought I'll give the opportunity to the player first.
No, let's go with you first.
I'll go with me first.
Yeah. Maybe for the rest of the innings, then bring her in.
Okay.
Bring her in after the innings break. Yeah?
Okay, sure. I'll just come back. Just inform it and come.
Can you start at the end of this over? Yeah. I'll bring it at the end of this over. Yeah. End of the 15th. Consecutive wides coming from Wanya Arif Malik. And again, this is stage of the innings where Spain will really want to keep a lid on things, not give away extras. Well, that's turned around the corner and nearly fielded by Muskan Nasib, but let it get through for 4. So just the momentum going with Italy at the moment, as they've now gone over 5.5 with the over 8. And more clean stroke play, this time from the new bat, Sayatri Batagoda. Sharan Utanagi back on strike for the last ball of the over, and that's a big shot. Thought for a second, this came off the bat, we might have our second 6 of the tournament. And, I think she got the first, if memory serves me correctly. But just a single resulting, just held up in the wind, hitting it into the wind. 84 for 2 after 15 overs. And I've got another guest in the commentary suite with me. It's a warm welcome to Gopi Krishna. I'm going to say Gopi's from Cricket Norway, but I'm sure that you can tell me the official title in Norwegian of the National Cricket Board.
Hi Andrew, thanks for the opportunity for calling me into the com box. To be honest, I'm a bit nervous.
Gopi, I'm just going to hold you up there. We seem to have developed a bit of technical fault with your microphone.
But yeah, coming back.
Sorry, Gopi. Just trying to work out whether your microphone's back up. Say something.
Can you check?
Okay, just bear with us while we get this sorted out for you. Let's hit around the corner of them bowling. Of Zainab Ahmed Iqbal, nearly resulting in a catch to Jasprit Grandcourt. Didn't quite get there. Jasprit, are you... sorry, that's the name of the fielder. Gopi, are you with us?
Yes.
I can hear you breathing, so that means that you're alive as a wicket falls. Well, it's a curious run-up that Ahmed Iqbal has got. But in 2 wickets, in 2 balls, she's almost produced a first, then has produced a second wicket. That is the end of Gayatri Bhattacharya, and it means the Italy 3rd wicket falls on 86. So, second time lucky. Gopi Krishna. How do we refer to cricket Norway in the Norwegian language?
Call it Norske Cricket Forbund, the federation.
Okay, so I understood the first word, that Norske would be Norwegian, presumably, and cricket.
Norges Cricket Forbund. Cricket Forbund as a federation.
Okay, so the English for that would be the Norwegian Cricket Federation.
Yes.
That's what you call yourselves. Right. Okay, and just for listeners, I'm sure you've been spotted on camera by your nearest and dearest, but what is your role within Norwegian cricket?
Yeah, I have to start it again. I had not prepared for this, but thanks for calling me here in the com box.
No problem.
I think coaches are comfortable out there on the field, not in the com box. But I'll try to do my best here. Yeah, coming back, I'm assistant coach for the men's under-19s as well as the women's. But our head coach, Eugene Millen, is supposed to arrive, is about to arrive in Norway, is struggling with the visas. So he'll be here in April, mostly with the teams. But
okay, so you're assistant coach in all 3 of those categories, yes?
Yes.
Men's, women's and under-19s. And the name of the head coach again?
At the moment, we have Zishan Siddiqui, who is taking care of the men's team. I'm assisting him. He was here with the men's team last year, and we were in Spain, in Malaga, for the T10. And Eugene Mellon, he's supposed to arrive. He's from South Africa. Mm-hmm. So,
but at the moment, that's been put back to April.
Yeah, but
okay.
he'll be working remotely with us. He'll be all brains.
So he'll be working remotely for now until he can get his visa sorted out and be there in person in April. Got a free hit here. Amelia Bartram recently arrived at the crease. Launches that over the leg side. We've mainly seen Amelia playing on the offside in this tournament, but the free hit allowing her to be a bit more expansive, maybe come out of her comfort zone a little bit. So Gopi, tell me a little bit more about you before we go on to cricket in Norway. I understand you're from Hyderabad?
Yes, fantastic, you know that. I'm from Hyderabad, yeah.
And did you move directly from Hyderabad to Norway, and if so, what age?
I moved to Norway 11 years ago to take my master's here in sustainability, and somehow I got connected with cricket. When I moved back to Oslo, I was not in Oslo before, when I came to Norway.
Okay.
I moved to Oslo and I got connected with cricket 4 years ago. 5 years ago.
So although you've been in Norway for 11 years, you only got back into so you had 7 years without cricket?
To being part of the Norwegian cricket, I mean, I was playing, but not in the coaching setup.
Okay, well, just to break off there, because Ahmed Iqbal is having real problems here. That one not only pitched off the strip, but it also bounced more than twice, so it's almost like a double no ball. Yeah. It's just struggling with her rhythm a bit. Captain's coming over to have a word. There's going to be another free hit. So far in the over, we've had 5 illegal deliveries and 3 legal ones, so real struggles for her. Free hit, launched down the ground by Amelia Bartram. Doesn't quite time it to perfection. Made a nice sound off the bat. 2 runs resulting. So you were playing in the interim years, but it's in the last 4 years you've been getting involved on the coaching and admin side.
Yeah.
And so 2 countries in your life, India and Norway.
Yeah, 2 countries in my life, and I love both of them.
So love both of them. Your home country, India, lost in the semi-finals of the World Cup recently to England, I think it was. And well, unfortunately, you've come 5th in this tournament. So it's been a tough week for you. But it's in terms of India, they're a well-developed country. Norway cricket, not so much developed, but improving. We noticed that in the 4 matches they played, they scored more runs in each innings over their previous one. So the learnings were there from match to match in this tournament. You must have taken a lot out of it. as a group?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I should actually mention about my under 19s here. When you're talking about all losses, I think it's a good opportunity to mention about wins. We were in Guernsey and competing for European World Cup qualifiers under 19,
Hmm.
and Norway has qualified for next round.
Okay.
So we'll be playing in August for the next round against good teams like Jersey, Scotland.
It's a long time between rounds, isn't it?
So yeah, that's something good for us. And our men's team recently they were in Finland playing the European qualifiers again, and they lost in the finals. Unfortunately, it's only one team will go through, so we didn't make it. But yeah, they played the finals. Yeah. Yeah.
So how long has women's cricket in Norway been in existence?
Coming back to the women's, as I said, I have two players now sitting there. They have played for Norway 10 years,
Okay.
and they are 22 years old and 20 years old.
Okay.
So they got a lot of. They started at very young age. Yeah, it's good to see them playing for so long. They didn't lose their interest. So we can see that there's a lot of interest in women to play cricket, take up cricket as a sport.
Hmm.
So we had around 8 teams 2 years ago, but unfortunately we have some teams took a break, I can say.
Well, Ahmad Iqbal has finally got through that over. It's a bit of a struggle. You can see on our graphic screen we're just running out of space, but thankfully she got through it. And 98 for 3 now, Italy. They have got that run rate above 6 and over, and well, any chasing team will get nervous once the rate required is over 1 per ball.
Yeah.
So Spain have got an opportunity here, 4 overs to claw that back. As we see a few of the highlights of Sharon Witanage's innings. She's on 46. We've only had 150 so far in this tournament. That was scored by Lucy Barnett. She's on strike now. Rabia Mushtaq will be the bowler. All right arm over. Haven't seen a lot of Rabia in this competition. It seems to me that Spain will have one eye on the result of this match, but also the players aren't going to develop by not playing. And she starts with a wide. Sharon Witanagi had eyes on the 50 there. I think she was looking for something expansive over extra cover to extra cover. Didn't make contact with the ball, but a wide resulted. One of a number of batters to perform consistently in this tournament. And that's a second wide. So we'll keep an eye on that and Sharon's quest for this 50, Gopi. But you were saying there are around 8, is that 8 women's teams currently in Norway?
No, now we have 4 teams.
Right.
Four
Okay.
teams active, and yeah, 2 teams have taken break. Hopefully they'll come back for the next summer.
Okay. And I'm sure the pandemic's played a part in that, and just teams losing a little bit of momentum. It's affected cricket in so many different ways, and of course other aspects of life.
Yeah, during pandemic we didn't get to travel, and in Norway, geographical location, those conditions they're not very favorable for us. The 2 teams stay far away from Oslo, so during pandemic we couldn't travel and in large groups anyway. So they didn't get a chance to come to Oslo, or the Oslo teams didn't get a chance to go there. And I mean, if you don't get to play 1 year, so I think the interest levels will drop. But yeah, if you can see the women's team who came here now, most of them are part of committees, women's committee, and some of them are managers for clubs.
Sharon Witanagi facing on, this freak ball, it just slips out the back of her hand as she's going to bowl it. So Mushtaq is Rabia Mushtaq facing a few challenges in this over, and even Sharon Witanagi seems to have some issue, some type of wardrobe malfunction perhaps, as she needs to take her gloves off. We're all ready to go again now. Once again on 47. And won't get to a 50 off this ball as well. They are going for a 2, and a good throw would have, that was big risk taking, especially from the part of Amelia Bartram. So does take Sharon WT20I onto 49. So I'll just pause you there, Gopi, as we watch this ball. And it's another wide. So just struggling to find her line. Rabia Mushtaq hasn't done much, if any, bowling in this tournament, so you can practice all you want in the nets. It feels very different out there in a crunch match. As this is hit away, that will be Sharon WT20I's 50, second 50 of the tournament. So her very good campaign continues here at Desert Springs. But further away from Desert Springs, we're talking about cricket in Norway, more specifically women's cricket with Gopi Krishna. And you were just saying there are 4 women's teams in Norway, and is that the current setup? So are they? So I think you were talking about 2 teams being outside Oslo. Is that those the 2 that are not playing at the moment? Are they included in the 4, or would you be getting back up? Are there 4 teams in Oslo, and you're looking to get the other 2 back in the fold?
Yeah, the 4 teams are in Oslo, and those 2 teams not active now, are outside of Oslo.
And where are they based?
They're based in Trondheim.
Okay. And I know that Norway's a long country, as Amelia Bartram hits that away, long country north to south, and then that even curves around through Samiland, I think, and what have you. So give us a perspective. How long would it take for a team to get to Oslo from Trondheim?
If you fly, it takes 2 hours from Trondheim, but if you go by car, it's 8 hours.
Okay.
So actually, men's team who travel from Trondheim to play some cricket in Oslo, they come by cars. So
yeah, so I can see I can see the issues already. So good luck with that, getting 4 back up to 6. So does that mean then that all the players that you got in this tournament are Oslo based?
Yeah, most of them are from Oslo. The other players who are not actually playing for the club cricket as well, but they're keeping themselves informed by training with the men's teams back there.
Emily Bartram goes again. This over is starting to look expensive. Well, she's actually managed to get through it. That's 18 off the over. And Spain have lost some control here in the last 2 overs. Italy already up to that close to that 120 mark. So it does very much look like Spain will be chasing over a run per ball in this tournament. As we look to see, yes, there will be a change in the bowling. Some sanity needs to be restored. And one of the players of the tournament, Naomi Hillman Bermejo, is going to return at the Crocodile club end. Now, I'm confident that Naomi scored at least 40 against Norway, because I know she's scored at least 40 and under 50 in all 3 of her innings so far in this tournament. Just coming away from Norway cricket at the moment. Were you impressed with her when she was batting against your team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it is always good to watch a player, and of course my team here came to learn, and seeing the shots, I think they'll of course take this back home.
Yeah, and she's Naomi, born and grew up in Madrid to the age of 7, as she told us when she came and visited us yesterday. But she's learnt most of her cricket in England, and you'll be aware yourself, as you come from a test-playing nation, that the infrastructure there is so much geared up towards developing cricketers, and what you get in the minor cricket countries are probably more barriers than anything else, and the success you get is almost in spite of the structure that you got, because it's very difficult with so few players spread across such a big country as Norway. Has faced constant challenges looking to develop the game, but I for one am delighted to see how your team have developed on a match by match basis in this tournament, and I think it's a credit to you, and your women seem great. I know there have even been a couple of comments on the YouTube chat, a couple of admirers of your captain, and it would seem not just for her cricket.
Yeah.
So she's proved very popular with the viewers.
I was not quite following the YouTube comments, but I learned them from the players.
Yep.
Yeah, it was good that people are getting engaged, watching the game. So
oh, there's a caught and bowled. As if Naomi Hillman Bermejo hasn't done enough in this tournament. She's just secured the wicket of key batter Sharon Witanagi for 51. So it is, to coin a phrase, 51 and out for Sharon. A couple of balls after reaching that second 50 of the tournament. She has gone off the bowling of Naomi Hillman Bermejo. I think that will be key to Spain as they push to keep Italy under 130 here, keep the total within the realms of possibility. "15 balls to go in this innings. Italy captain is the new one in. Gets off the mark straight away. Komudu Pedrick spoke very confidently at the toss. They've been watching Spain and assessing their strengths, and well, yeah, she did exude confidence at the toss that this is their title to take. Just break off. So Amelia Bartram appears to have maybe lost a bit of her toe off her bat, or has brought something out onto the ground that she didn't want to. As this is just tucked around the corner for a leg by. Attempt to tuck it around the corner. So you're deep into winter in Norway at the moment. I know that you have very short days and long nights, which must be tough, but the compensation comes in the summer, where it's virtually daylight all day long. So I presume you won't have any cricket up there for quite a long time, till the late part of the spring next year, I imagine. Have you got any cricket planned overseas, or what's the next engagement?
one thing we have on the book is under 19s. We're planning to, as I was talking to you earlier, we're planning to bring them here or take them away somewhere to get to feel the grass, because we have only Astros, but now going back into the winter, we'll be training indoors. So that is on the paper, and definitely I was talking to a lot of the coaches around, and even they are on the same pages. So they are also looking for more games for the women because of the interest they are showing now, and I have seen a lot of teams evolved a lot during these 4 days, the way they started and the way they're going now, and the coaches are excited to give them more games.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely there's a lot of notes will be taken back to the Norway, and and discussed with the board.
So going back to your under-19s, when realistically do you think the earliest is that you can get them here to Desert Springs?
Not quite sure. Not in this recent months, but in 2023, early 2023.
Okay, so spring here in Spain. So you could be back here in well, potentially 3 or 4 months' time with your under-19s.
Yes, absolutely.
That would be great to see. Payal Chilongia is back to bowl her left arm spin. Just had a message from Thea Brooks, my erstwhile co-commentator. Been with him the last 3 days. She's just turned touchdown in London, so that's the first bit of good news. And she is delighted about Sharon achieving the second 50 of the tournament, and has asked us to pass her congratulations on to Sharon. So I'm sure that one of us can do that in the near future, perhaps before she takes the field. But yeah, it was lovely to see another 50 ticked off in this tournament as Payal Chilongia continues, and that's a huge wind up for that ball. Sent away to wide, long on, and will go for 4. So that is the 130 up for Italy, and they've still got 9 balls remaining this innings, so 140 very much within their sights now. So Kumudu Pedrick, she's coming a bit later than she has in previous matches, looking to make a mark with a cameo as there's a missed stumping. Tasbih Mirza commented that she's been almost invisible in this tournament. In respect, she's been very tidy behind the stumps, but just a couple of errors have crept in this innings. And that's what happens when the pressure's on. And it's a win-all match. It is a league match, but it's one of those league matches that feels like a final. 2 more to Amelia Bartram and her teammates in the Italy. Well, I was going to say they're in the Italy dugout, but they're virtually standing on the boundary rope at deep square leg, out of their seats, cheering on every run. Two more runs to complete the over on 35 for 4, the Italy score, with 1 over remaining. Well, Gopi, I'd like to thank you for joining me today. I know that we met in Kartama. You were one of a huge number of people I met down there, but it's nice to see you here and have a bit more time to get to know you better during this tournament. Your team have been a credit to you for this tournament, the spirit that they've played in. It's been a pleasure to have you along, and good luck with your winter, as long as it is in Norway. And I hope to hear news of you coming back here in the spring, and who knows, if you need an umpire, a commentator, or even a coach, I might be available. Just bear that in mind as we start the over. So, Gopi, thank you. As Naomi Hillman Bermejo is struck away to mid-wicket, there's a chance of a catch, but unfortunately not converted by Amy Brown Carrera, and there's 4 more, so ever closer. And the umpires are getting together, not quite sure what's going on here. Okay, so I think they're concerned about how close the Italy team are to the boundary rope. They have a dugout designated for the purpose, and I think quite rightly they've been asked to, as emotional as they're getting, they've been asked to get back in the dugout and sit down. I mentioned during the last over that they were virtually touching the boundary rope, and there was a distraction. So they're back to the dugout. They're now being asked to sit down. I think the thing is maybe they were quite a distraction to Amy Brown Carrera out on the boundary over there. Gradually the Italy team are sitting down. This is a full toss from Naomi Hilma Bermejo, similarly dispatched, and well, this innings is exceeding expectations now, as into the 140s with 4 balls to go. 150 now looking a real possibility, and it's only a few overs ago we were talking about Italy making sure they got past 120, so this has slipped away from Spain in recent overs, and they'll need a really tight finish now. That's a fuller ball, hit to square leg by Kumudu Pedrick, just for a single. And well, try as you might, it doesn't feel like the Italy team are able to sit down currently. They're very emotional about what's happening out there. As Amelia Bartram looks to sweep this away, I think manages a leg by, confirmed by Mark Chappell at the bowler's end. So a little bit more control in the last 2 balls. Spain will be desperate to keep this total under 150. 150 hasn't been chased down, and well, that's a high full toss. Hasn't been called, but actually brilliantly saved on the line, right in front of us here. It was touch and go. And well, as one of the umpires had been used in this tournament, actually I was asked to confirm, it was just hold down, she was so close to the line. As we see the replay here, her hand just gets onto the ball, flicks it back inside. Absolutely superb bit of fielding by Jasprit Grangkao. As this is swept round, last ball of the innings. Did run 3 off that ball, so she did only save 1 run, and that single takes the score to 149. So they did manage to keep Italy in the 140s, but unfortunately 150 is the target, which just sounds like a little bit psychologically a little bit more. So this is a big ask for Spain in this win-all match. They have, well, I was going to say restricted, but they have allowed Italy to get to 149 for 4 after keeping them around the 5 runs per over mark and below for much of that innings. There's been a flood of runs in the second half from Italy. They've posted that 149 score, which will be a really impressive achievement for Spain. We'll see how it goes in the second half, but for my money, Italy will be the happier of the 2 teams right now. Just see a summary of the scores. So the standout was Sharon Witanage with 51. Amelia Bartram down the order with 22, and Captain Kumudu Pedrick. They were the ones that sort of gave the innings fresh impetus towards the end. Chaturika Mahamanage chipped in once again with 16. They recovered from losing opener Sadali Malwata. First ball. Quite first ball of the innings. Being asked to multitask at an unprecedented level.
I can understand that.
Being asked to switch to umpire last game, which I don't want to do.
Oh jeez.
Because I don't like being underprepared.
Regreso con tus cosas.
Okay, go Josh. Josh.
Mi cartera se queda ahí. ¿Qué
Are you
más?
leaving rubbish around? Oh wow.
Underway in this second innings of this crucial match between Spain and Italy here at Desert Springs in the province of Almeria, southern Spain. Payal Chilungia facing up, managing to get off the mark of the fourth ball of the innings. Been a change at the top of the order. Amy Brown Carrera has been promoted to open, in place of her captain Elspeth Fowler. She's about to face her first ball. One of the players of the tournament, Chaturika Mahamalage, in the first over. Crouching Dragon, as we've referred to her before, start of the run-up. She's quite short to start with it, starts even shorter. Comes up to her full height before she releases the ball. And that's played cautiously towards mid-off, so just one run off the first over. Excellent start for Italy, not so good for Spain. And I've got another special guest. They're coming, as these innings rather do, they're coming thick and fast from Cricket Sweden to give. I'm sure I'll get the Swedish version of that shortly from Cricket Sweden. It's Kasim Ali. Welcome to our commentary booth, Kasim.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here, and what a lovely booth it is.
It is. Its basicness is there's a bonhomie in this suite, which is you can get paraphernalia, but there's just a feeling in this suite. There's been a lot of love in this suite over the last 4 days.
I'm sure.
So first of all, is there a Swedish version of Cricket Sweden that you can give us?
No.
Okay. Okay. Well, I tried. I think it's the Swedish version of the is it the Swedish Cricket Board or something like that? I think that's what its full title is. But anyway, I know that you haven't been with Cricket Sweden very long. But before you talk about Cricket Sweden specifically, let's talk a little bit about you, as Amelia Bartram opens the bowling from the Crocodile Club end. Tell me about your background and how you came to be involved with Cricket Sweden.
Oh wow!
Don't be shy.
Throw me straight into the deep end there. A good question actually. I've been a professional qualified coach for lost track of a number of years now, well over 24 years. Graduated in England up to a level 4 ECB level 4 qualification. My home county Lancashire. Done some various stints with Lancashire County Cricket Club in junior ranks and managed the indoor centres, and worked with England as head coach with England Disability. memorable win in Bangladesh with the inaugural World Cup,
When was that?
2015.
Okay.
And then was lucky enough to be headhunted to go to Dubai and work as the head coach for the ICC Academy. So I've been a bit of a whirlwind, and now here I am actually in Spain, but as head coach of or director of cricket, should I say, for Cricket Sweden. And like you rightly said, it's not been so long in that post.
So when did that start?
The actual director role started early September, officially, and head coach's role actually came about after the very impressive Jonty Rhodes decided to leave his post, and I got a phone call regarding the men's qualifications and their preparations for the European qualifications, and it kind of came at a really good time for me to sort of. I'd done 5.5 years at ICC Academy, and it was definitely ready for a change, and what a good challenge this has been.
So some ears will have been pricked by the name Jonty Rhodes there. So he was involved with Cricket Norway at what level and for how long?
Cricket Sweden.
Sorry, Cricket Sweden.
I was going to
I knew
say
that's a joke. I've got through to the 4th day without doing that. I knew I was going to do that at some point during this tournament, having been to neither country. I know the languages are very similar. So we'll go with Cricket Sweden, shall we?
I'll let you off. It's a hot day in your booth. Yeah, Cricket Sweden. He's been around for a couple of years, and he was quite instrumental. Obviously, quite a big name from the cricketing world. Comes with a huge background of experience playing for South Africa, and ultimately one of the best fielders in the world for in his era, and probably still now. So, yeah, he's been around. He was quite instrumental towards obviously some of the culture changes in Sweden, but obviously he's got a lot of commitments going towards many of the franchise leagues. So
he's been the head coach for a couple of years at Cricket Sweden.
Yeah, a couple of years, and I don't exactly know when he started, but I was aware when I came in that obviously he vacated the post, and I got a phone call, and after a couple of interview questions, I would say, aligned our vision and the culture that we're trying to create. I'm on a plane to Sweden, and what an interesting journey it's been since then.
Yeah, so that all came to fruition at beginning of September. So I'm reading between the lines of what you said there. Is Jonty Rhodes still involved in some type of consultancy basis?
He's not at the moment, but as a director, I'm obviously looking to bring him on board at some capacity. We're trying to get our house in order at the moment. There's a lot happening in Sweden from a cricket perspective, obviously from a domestic perspective as well. There's a lot happening, but also from I'm sure Monica's alluded on to it. We're going through a bit of a change through the AGMs and everything else that's happening there. So we need to settle our own ship before we can start to obviously bring the right people on to make sure that we head in the right direction.
Yeah. So just before we completely go on to Cricket Sweden, so is your involvement full time? Have you moved to Sweden, or are you doing it remotely? How does it work for you?
At the moment, I have a residence in sunny Dubai.
Okay.
And the Swedish winter at the moment just doesn't quite sit with my texture at the moment. So I've decided to. Obviously, this winter was quite an interesting one because the role came out off the back of the preparations for the qualifiers. But I had some previous commitments already in place prior to obviously joining up for my first stint with Cricket Sweden, if you like, for the World Cup qualifiers, which then extended into a director of cricket position to oversee the entire structure. So two very different roles, two very different commitments, but sooner or later I will be
We'll
moving.
just break off there as we've had a wicket. Amy Brown Carrera has, I'm going to say clean bowled. I get the first impression there was perhaps a little bit of inside edge, maybe a bit of pad involved in that, but looked like the ball jagged back to her, cramped her for a bit of room. So the experiment of putting her up to the top of the order in a crucial match appeared not to have gone to plan, and she is going back. Dismissed with the Spain score still in its infancy. Little bit leaden-footed there, didn't really commit either forward or back to that ball, and paid the price. It's going to be replaced by Uswa Saeed, so that is the first wicket down in the Spain reply. And they've just reached 5 for 1 in 2 overs and 2 balls. So, just as we watch this ball, Nimesha Asura Manage has already become the 3rd bowler used in this innings in just the 3rd over. Another bowler with a crouching start. Comes up a little earlier. And there's no run there. So, where were we before that wicket?
I was just saying, obviously, hoping to move into Sweden territory in the coming in the new year. And we've got some good plans moving forward in terms of what my role is and how I interact with the teams, which is much required. Obviously, in a few other activities that are happening in Cricket Sweden, obviously related to the coach education programs. From all our squads, we've just introduced a new development program for all our squads as well, so it's quite busy.
So yeah, I can imagine you're not rushing to get to Sweden in,
Of course,
let's say, December, January or February. As you mentioned, sunny Dubai there, I'm sure you'll be doing as much remote work as possible. It takes quite a while for the season to get going, I can imagine, in Sweden. I can't imagine they start in April up there. So outdoor stuff maybe starting in May?
Yeah, we've got lots of indoor stuff happening beforehand. We've obviously got some involvement with our Nordic companions, so we're trying to create a better opportunity for our girls to play more games. Obviously this week's been fantastic, but it's at the back end of our season, so we've got a winter break coming up, which we need to really keep the momentum going, and that's always a hard challenge in the European countries, especially as though contact time is limited, resources might be limited, and also funding as well.
Okay, so we've just been speaking to Gopi about cricket in Norway. How many women's teams have you got in Sweden?
Oh geez, you've put me on the spot here.
I know, you're allowed to estimate because you're new to the job.
Yeah, no, we've got 10 teams at the moment who are playing competitive cricket. We've got plans to grow that to 22 teams in the next 3 years.
Well,
So
there's a stumping appeal here, not given by Nilkesh Patel.
So like I said, we want to try and double that as in the next 2 to 3 years. Girls playing competitive cricket, but also having an infrastructure where there's a development pathway in place, but also a performance program to look forward to as well. So these girls are very new to this type of performance program, and hopefully it will just get stronger and stronger in terms of the women and girls that we've got back home in domestic cricket.
So those 10 teams that you got currently, are they all in and around Stockholm, or are they spread around the country?
No, they're spread around the country. There's obviously a few, majority of them are in Stockholm. There's a few down south, and there's a couple in the sort of Gothenburg area. So yeah, it's quite spread out, north, south, and the Midlands, which predominantly, as you look at Sweden, is long and narrow.
Yep.
And that's where majority of our cricket is at the moment.
Captain Kamudi's on to bowl. There's another attempt at a stumping. It's all happening behind the stumps at the moment. Mednara Ratnayaka. Very good pair of hands. Sometimes a little bit too eager. In the one match I've had to umpire in this tournament, she did get in front of the stumps a couple of times. Paid the penalty. That's what it's there for. That's the batsman's area. Keep out of it.
Yeah, and there seems to be a common thread that in the women's game at the moment that I'm seeing. It's quite an observation. Taking the ball in front of the stumps, and obviously a no ball being called. So maybe that's something that as keepers we need to speak about in terms of a union to get them to understand that rule a little bit more.
Well, it's a skill. And that time it is out, the stumping, so that is the end of the tournament for Payal Chilongia. look as comfortable as she has in other innings, reaching forward for that one. and just as we were talking about keeping and staying behind the stumps. Good bit of keeping from her.
Yeah.
Managed to stay behind. I think it's one of those things, without trying to overstate the importance of qualified umpires, keeper getting in front is one of those things that unqualified umpires don't look for. And as you're growing up playing cricket in a developing country, in cricketing terms, where it is a minority sport, it's quite possible that you'll go through your first 20, 30 matches without a qualified umpire at the striker's end, because a lot of matches in those countries have the qualified umpire at the bowler's end.
Correct.
And you might have a player at the striker's end who's not going to be looking for that. The trouble is, you then get into bad habits as you're 20, 30 matches deep in your playing career.
Yeah.
And you suddenly find out that getting in front of the stumps before the ball comes to you is not really a good idea.
Yeah, absolutely, and you kind of see it, unfortunately, in different disciplines as well. So if you look at from a batting perspective, some of the girls mentioned today, we haven't played on a turf wicket before, and we don't know about the bounce that's coming. So why are we, we haven't had the coaching to play from foot drives, for argument's sake. And it's not just from our girls. We're speaking to the other girls. The trajectory of the ball stays lower. So and when you're playing on mats, they tend to stay on the back foot, and because the bounce is higher. So what they get coached in their domestic cricket is obviously sometimes not what they get sort of put under the pressure here.
Yep.
And it's a different pressure and a challenge to come to. So sometimes this can be the education inside the game for them.
Yeah, of course. We've mentioned a couple of times on commentary over the course of the last few days that it's a lot easier if you've grown up playing cricket on grass pitches to then go and play on an artificial.
Absolutely.
Than it is to have always played on artificial and then go and play on grass. That's a more difficult transition.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The one thing, if you've always played on grass and you get an artificial and it's a bit bouncy, that can be uncomfortable. But overall, it's a lot easier to go one way, grass to artificial, than it is to go the other. So that's something to bear in mind. We've had so many wonderful comments on the YouTube chat. We've had a couple of negative ones, and of course those negative ones don't bear in mind that this is learning while it's happening in front of you on live television. So there's the pressure of that, and having to learn as you go along while you're already into the game. So it's a big challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a big learning week. I'm a big believer that the more cricket anybody plays, you learn through the game, and the game teaches you a lot, whether it's about you or your team or the environment around it or the opposition. And there's a lot of takeaway messages to take from that, and our girls certainly have done that. We've reflected after every match, and we've got some common patterns that are emerging that we need to go and work on. But there's also some common achievements that we've had, and we need to recognise and reward that.
So I'm going to put you on the spot here, okay? Because we've this is not specific to any team. This is an overall observation of the tournament, which are sort of instant areas for improvement. Thea and I have discussed and perhaps bored some people by our repetition of these. A couple of things we've noticed in this tournament. First of all, wides down the leg side have largely been ignored by strikers, and our feeling is there's generally only one fielder behind square on the leg side. So if there's a ball down the leg side, especially if it's short, have a go at it, and if you miss it, you're still going to get the wide, so it's status quo. You haven't lost anything by having a go.
Yeah.
And if you get it, there's a decent chance, we'll be calling it a virtual free hit, there's a decent chance that if you get any bat on it at all, it will evade the fielder. You might get very unlucky and get caught. You're not going to get bowled, you're not going to get LBW. What type of, and I know you're learning as you go along, and you've still got one game to go, is that something that you've spoken about in your meetings or even prior to this tournament? Because a lot of, and I'm saying this goes for all 5 teams, there have been a lot of balls which are effectively free hits, which have just been let. Well, that's a wide. Let's take the run. Let's take the extra ball. Is that something that's figured in your team meetings?
Yeah, absolutely. You just need to stop at the fact that we've bowled too many wides, and that's the first bit of learning. But
well, I'm talking
from a batting perspective.
I'm talking from the batting perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. And from a batting perspective, obviously, I think observing throughout the tournament, my observations have been not just about the Sweden team, but actually all the teams. I think the girls have a tendency of, if it's not in the right channel, we'll just leave it. But what they don't realise is they can capitalise on that, and that point that you're trying to make with one fielder on the leg side, anything sort of leg stumpish or hip high, they can hit that ball if the contact's made, and they will get value for runs on this surface. And often what happens is sometimes they're not coached that. They're coached about the offside and trying to hit straight and look pretty, but from a cricket perspective. But actually, it's not always the case in here, and a lot of girls have missed out on valuable runs and not punishing the bad ball.
Okay, so that's obviously been discussed, and we've still got one game to play, and there's some news coming up about that game. We're going to have the toss in around about 15 minutes, which I know you're going to make sure your captain's on time for. So as I'm commentating on my own, but yesterday I was having to dash off and leave Thea to it, and go running around trying to persuade two captains to get to the area at the right time. So the second thing that I've noticed and that we've talked about a lot on air between Thea and myself is fielders being, should we say, somewhere between the edge of the fielding circle and the boundary, but sort of an unspecified distance, which they themselves appear to have adjusted depending on what's happened between the previous ball.
Yep.
Where we're big fans of, if you're not saving the single, give yourself the best chance of saving the boundary. Is that something you must have your fielding plans? Is that something that's been discussed about without giving too many secrets away in this tournament?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't say that Sweden were the major offenders in this point.
Well, you can do. Have you been in our meetings? Have you been listening into our team meetings?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, so absolutely. I mean, obviously, the game one for us was a massive learning curve. I mean, it was a steep learning curve and a quick learning curve. Obviously, our captain's been quite experienced. She's had a lot of experience, but from her experience to coming into this tournament, obviously, there's certain areas that even her as an individual and as a captain can improve. But as a team, one of the key areas we spoke about fielding is if you're not inside the circle saving a single, you should be out on the boundary trying to save a four. And the no man's land in between is kind of, a dead area for us, because if the ball does go past you either side, it kind of goes for four on such a short ground like this and a quick outfield. So you rather have the momentum going forward into the ball to stop it than having to run sideways or run behind it. And that's what we spoke about. And there was a drastic change in the second game, which we noticed. But obviously this morning there was still a few girls who kind of went back into habit and routine. And that's going to take some time from an education point of view, not just for our team, but obviously I'm sure there's...
Well, we've got an LBW here. That's been given by Mark Chappell. Sorry to interrupt you there, but it's another key wicket. It's Saeed who has shuffled across and tried to shovel that one away into the leg side. Has missed, and Mark Chappell has confirmed that that's not a good idea. So I'm going to counter an accusation you made me of listening in on our team meetings, and this one's a lot more permissible. I'm just wondering, with the use of the term no man's land, have you been listening to our commentary?
No, but I'm assuming that's common terminology for somebody who's just stuck in the between.
It's something. Yeah, it's I coach a lot of juniors, and it's something that when we have our match scenario practices, where we try and get something in practice that can be as similar as possible to a match. It's always like you observe, you're always saying you're either all the way in the single or you're all the way on the boundary, and you set the cones out and you say there is no in between. Yeah. And if you don't keep on it sometimes every ball, it's let's say less experienced players, it seems the comfort zone seems to be doing neither. Yeah. There's some it's a bit like having a dummy to chew on. Is that area where you're neither saving the single nor saving the boundary seems to be of comfort to inexperienced players, and it's getting them out of that comfort zone and making sure they're all the way in. Yeah. Because you have a 25-yard circle in women's cricket. It doesn't mean you have to stand on it if you're in the circle. Yeah. Because a lot of shots that will go straight to a fielder on the 25-yard circle are fairly easy singles. Yeah. And you don't want that sometimes if you're on top. You want a certain batter on strike. Make sure that you're not on the circle. Make sure that you're in, making sure you're saving the singles. So it's a big thing of mine in my coaching, and it's Thea and I have both got a little frustrated at times watching it amongst the teams.
Yeah.
When someone who's 15 yards inside the boundary has tried to run across and
Yeah.
ended up running backwards towards the ball, and it gets past them, and you think, well, if they'd just been on the boundary, they'd had plenty of time to get around for that one. So I'm glad that that's playing a part in your team meetings, which I haven't had a fly on the wall in them.
But
So I'm going to ask a bonus question, because I said only two.
sorry,
You've got one final point to make on that.
just on that point, I think obviously I've grown up with a lot of different types of cricket, and I'm sure you have as well, and we've experienced it both as a player and as a coach. The comment and the challenge from that fielding position, and why sometimes we do see girls in halfway point in the no man's land, if you like, is the fact that sometimes the girls don't have the power to hit it. We've only seen one, if not two sixes in this tournament, and so one six. So what that suggests to me straight away that a lot of the balls are, can be counteracted by that no man's land, if you like, and that was a thought process behind our captain in particular. My school of thought is obviously similar to what we've just discussed there. If you are behind on the rope and running into it, you're more likely to have the momentum to catch it, stop it, throw it back in quite quickly. And it's always frustrating for a coach, especially, and probably from a bowler, to see that ball go over the fielder of the no man land, and go for four, because that's always frustrating. So in high competition stakes like this, we have to teach our fielders to do the basics, but really, really well, and obviously have a tactical edge upon our opponent. So yeah, that's what we're trying to get to.
Right. Thanks for that answer, and I agree with everything you say, by the way.
Thanks, mate.
So there's a bit of breaking news from the tournament, and that is that unfortunately Neil Kishu is still out there, who has been, well, he was poorly last weekend when he was doing the men's trilateral series. It's taken him over. I gave him a break 2 days ago. So that he could rest and recuperate, and we've been looking after him back as all the officials and commentators or whatever are staying in the same house on site. We've been supplying him with various drugs of a legal nature. I should just make sure I say that closely. But it seems like he's fading fast, and he's not going to be able to get past this innings. So I've been asked to step into the breach for the next match, which is going to be really tricky for me to go straight from. Do you know how quick the turnover is between these matches?
I do indeed.
I'm going to have to go straight from commentating to umpire the next one. So trying to get into the umpiring psyche. First of all, how have your girls enjoyed having 4 experienced umpires out there in this tournament?
It's been fantastic. I mean, from our perspective, obviously, to have at least 2 umpires on a pitch consecutively, or of a professional nature, from there onwards is a plus. So to have 4 in a tournament has been exceptional. Obviously, the learning and the education comes from the umpires as well, and they've been well disciplined in terms of the skills that we're trying to teach our players. And obviously the discipline. So yeah, it's been good. It's been good from our perspective. The girls have enjoyed it.
So other than the keeper not learning to come in front of the stumps to take the ball, what do you think are the key things that inexperienced players can learn from experienced umpires out in the middle on the job?
Player to umpire or umpire to umpire?
No, what are the things that maybe if they grew up, as I say, with teammates umpiring, perhaps one umpire at strike at bowler's end, but maximum of 1, to come from that to being obviously on grass, and also having experienced umpires at each end. What can they pick up from that? How do you think that can help them?
Like I said, from an umpire perspective, we're trying to get to as close as possible to the rules that they play, around the world, and to be as disciplined as possible, because the girls want to be disciplined. We want to achieve our standards, but we want to increase our standards as well. And from that, as much as possible, if it's a wide, it's a wide. If it's down leg side, try and stick to as much consistency as possible. The big challenge here has been obviously no ball, waist side no balls, and for some of our bowlers, it's been overhead no balls as well. So we have to get that right from an umpiring perspective, and it has been right. There's obviously been it's a tough task in the sun all day long, and that does deteriorate your decision making sometimes. And that's a big one for me from an umpire's perspective, is to consistently make the same decisions all the way along, and it's always difficult at the end of the day when you've had a full day of sunshine. So just trying to be as sharp as possible. From our perspective, it's always about learning and respecting the umpire as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think one of the things which is a double-edged thing coming from artificial as well.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened very often in the one match I did out there, but
Running
a
on
few
the wicket.
instances of playing the shot and running straight down the
Yeah.
middle of the pitch, and
Yeah.
quite a slightly quizzical look. And I've had to say, look,
Yeah.
it might be vaguely acceptable on artificial, but when you're playing on these where we're playing 6 matches in a row on the same pitch,
Yeah.
you really have to look after that pitch, and that's something which I think you can take away from the tournament and realise you can't just run where you feel like it.
Yeah.
Kasim, there's a very, very tangible sign. Our time together is coming to an end.
Yeah.
Because
It's been a pleasure. It's
we've
been
got
emotional.
the captain. It's been emotional. We've got the captain of Isle of Man, Claire Crowe, waiting patiently for the toss. She's always very punctual in a full playing kit, and I know that you're part of the team and entourage that's going to get your captain here on time for the toss as well. Of course, we can't take it early, but we can take a couple of minutes late. So I'm going to let you go with thanks for your company. It's been really good. And
pleasure.
if you can get to Gunjan, his name I've been saying all tournament and trying to get it fixed. If you can get Gunjan Shukla over here to do the toss in the next 5 minutes, that would be great. And once again, thanks for your company.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, we are through the power play now, and this is not going at all well for Spain. They are 14 for 3 in the 8th over. It's been hard going. Haven't been able to time the ball, get it away. And we're speaking of toss time here. There's still 12 overs left in this match after this. So again, we're up against it in the tournament with the light, potentially. But from Italy's perspective, they would like to eradicate that problem by rushing through these last 7 wickets and confirming their title as champions of this pentagonal challenge, the quinquilateral competition of these 2 Mediterranean countries, the 2 Scandinavian countries that we've spoken about, and odd one out, Isle of Man. Claire Crowe, I can see her over the way there, still waiting very patiently. So once I see the Sweden captain coming over, which I can, we will be switching to roving style to get the toss done. Both captains a little bit early, so but better early than late. Thumbs up if the preparations are going well for the last match. 1 thumbs up from Isle of Man, 1 thumbs up from Sweden. Okay. So hopefully we haven't eaten into the preparation time by getting this toss done. It's one of the things that we have to do. Can't get the toss done out in the middle. The match is running on back to back. I've just got a stoppage here. I'm not quite sure what's going on, but some water's been run on. There's a player on the ground. It's the wicket keeper, Mednara Ratnayaka. Not quite sure what's happened here. All seems to be well now. She's up on her feet.
Hola, hola. Hola. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Vale, dame tiempo.
So last ball of the over, and that's chipped back towards the bowler by Elspeth Fowler. Apologies, not last ball of the over at all. Okay, I'm just going to break off. We're going to switch to roving mode to bring you the toss at the end of this over. Stay with us. Well, that ends the over in the middle. Still not going too well for Spain. 21 for 3, but it's toss time between these two nations. First of all, Claire Crow, I believe you got something to present to Gunjun Shukla, captain of Sweden. Presentation of a pennant. That's lovely. So that's I've got something to give to you. And that's a 10p that you left on the floor yesterday. So that's yours back. And it is you are the first named team, so it is up to you to toss again. So toss it nice and high, please. And Gunjun, if I can have a call from you.
It's a tail. Okay.
So tails was the call. Tails, it's landed. Gunjun, if you can come this way and join me back here. So you've won the toss again, and it's turned around for you. Two losses, 2 wins. What's your decision this time?
We want to stick to our bowling because we are here to improve our line and length on this turf. So looking forward for more bowling. Yeah.
Okay, so decision to field first. I'm going to rush through the interview, but I've spent a bit of time with Kasim just there on that last innings, and he spoke a lot about your development, how much he's enjoyed it. So really looking to finish this tournament on a high.
Yeah, definitely looking forward for that. Yes.
Okay, well, I should be out there with you. Looking forward to it. Thank you very much for your time. Claire, they're looking to develop their bowling and they're looking to make their improvements against your lineup. Happy with that?
Well, to be honest, I think we would probably have chosen to bowl as well. So, but it doesn't matter. We'll start with some batting, and yeah, we've got a batting lineup. We'll test them a little bit, and then hopefully our own bowlers will come in and do the job that they need to do as well.
You've had a great weekend.
It's been fantastic, yeah. The facilities, the weather. It's a little bit different to the Isle of Man at the moment, and just the experience of being in with the other players has been again fantastic and really enjoyable. Really enjoyed it.
It's good to have you out there, and I'm looking forward to joining you in the middle for the next match. Thanks for your time.
We'll see you then. Thank you very much.
Okay, so confirmation that Sweden have elected to field. Another tight over there from Amelia Bartram in this match, and unfortunately this batting innings for Spain currently not really going anywhere. They're under 3 runs per over, those 3 early wickets, and Naomi Hillman Bermejo, who you would say has been one of the 2 best batters of the tournament. He's out in the middle, hasn't really made a solid effect yet. She's on 3 off 10 balls, which is unusual for her. Elspeth Fowler, 6 off 18. It's time to make a mark. Stroked away. Well, I said it was time to make a mark, and that's a good way to start. 4 runs through the covers. Naomi Hillman Bermejo. Sharon Witanagi rolling from the better end of the ground here at Desert Springs, bringing this coverage to you. The province of Almeria in southern Spain, as Elspeth Fowler is beaten by that one outside the off stump. Well, there's another unofficial drinks break going on, and I can see Mark Chappell out there with hands on hips. We are behind schedule once again today, and the organisers will be keen to get through this match. 2 umpires in position, not a lot else happening. Well, not much of a celebration from Italy there, but Elspeth Fowler has been bowled. And that delivery from Nana Yakara. Delisha Nana Yakara, who started the tournament well, has had a little, with the player of the match performance, has gone a little quiet in the middle, but is now finishing strongly. Just a chance to mention the people who have brought this tournament together. Production team Audio Visuales Murcia, sponsored by All in One, and kit and balls supplied by Grizzly Sports. The Spain kit that you can see in front of you there, and the umpire's kit. And the match balls. Grateful to all those people for helping to bring this tournament together. Sharon Witanagi continues. Naomi Hillman Bermejo still out there, beginning to look like a lone hope. Out of man squad going through their paces over by the flags. And I've just been handed the Sweden team for the upcoming match. Just letting you know that Elsa Telander is going to play her first match of the tournament, and she's going to come in as wicketkeeper. Rashmi Ganja Gunte Somashekar and Meghana Alu Gunula are the two players to miss out on the last game. So we're through 13 overs here, and Spain scoreline still not really going anywhere, 34 for 4. Hit strongly away by Naomi Hillman Bermejo. She's been joined by Muskan Nasib. This is a full toss, hit through square leg, sends Bhainil Patel scattering. 2 left in the over. Boundaries are required. Pill for LBW, not given. Brings an end to another fairly unproductive over for Spain. Don't appear to have any answers at the moment. So this bowling from Italy has been in the main very tidy, and the boundaries have not been coming. All good feeling from Amelia Bartram. And Muskan Nasib really struggling to time the ball here. The effort's going in, the ball's just not coming off the bat. That occasion, player miss. Yes. Fielding and batting, very different skills. Just get the impression all the runs that came in towards the tail end of the Italy innings knocked the stuffing out of the Spain team. Have come out, it's been fairly unremarkable batting performance. Just haven't kept pace with their opposition in the way they have in the previous 3 matches, which they came through unbeaten. As Naomi Hillman Bermejo comes down the pitch, but in doing so appears to cramp herself for room. So even Naomi hasn't looked quite the batter she has in the first 3 games, back-to-back games of course. She times this one rather better, but picks out the fielder on the boundary. Sadali Malwat out there, who suffered the ignominy of a first ball duck, opening the batting earlier on in this match. And that was quite a wide ball. Two wides accumulated off that ball, have to be re-bowled. Looks like it's gone through everything. Perilously close to leg stump. Expected to see the castle go down there, but bye signalled eventually. See the return now of Chaturika Mahamalage. Yeah, stats on your screen there. Just about to update 2 of 19 balls. Gives you an indication of how much Muskan and Nasib has struggled to get the ball away. Well, Missfield will bring a single, so she will move her score onto 3 of 20. So this total now looks completely out of reach for Spain, so it's looking almost certain that Italy will be the champions of this tournament. Pentagonal tournament here in Desert Springs, province of Almeria. Brought to you by Audio Visualis Murcia with the kind support of All-in-One. Three overs to go. 104 runs required for Spain. Slight anticlimax this deciding match, but let's not forget that it's all about the development of the players. How much they're learning, that's what we're here for. Kamudi Pedrick, Italy captain, is going to come on to bowl now from the Crocodile Club end. Little hesitation to begin with, but eventually Eamon Hillman Bermejo comes through for the single. And I would say at the very least Spain should be looking to get to 51 here to make sure that they're within 100 of their target at the end of the innings. Getting to 50 will mean Margin of defeat in double figures rather than triple figures. That'll look a little bit better, but it won't cover up the fact that they've been thoroughly outplayed in this decisive match. Italy have proved themselves to be the strongest team in the competition after both teams came through to this match unbeaten. Italy, well, they were struggling in their innings. They were struggling in the sense that they may well fall short of the 120 mark, and the fact they got to 149 due to a couple of innings late down the order, but a lot of extra balls, a couple of the bowlers completely losing their action, and a lot of runs were accumulated in a small number of overs, and that's probably, as I mentioned a couple of overs ago, what knocked the stuffing out of Spain. Couldn't get up that one final time to fight for this one. Even Naomi Hillman Bermejo has not been as fluent as previously, and as I say that, she comes down the pitch, times a full toss beautifully through mid-wicket to take a 4 off the last ball of the over. 2 more to go. And looks like Sadali Malwata is going to have a bowl from the Beira end of the ground. This game just going through the motions at the moment. Spain have brought the 50 up, but that'll be a small consolation. They'll be disappointed they weren't able to challenge more in this decisive match. Competition. Naomi Hillman Bermejo's previous fluency has just eluded her in this innings, barring a couple of notable occasions, and Naseeb, well, really has struggled to get the ball away. End of the 19th over. You can see in the background there the wind has picked up again, the lovely flags of the visiting nations in this tournament. The smaller one on the left, Isle of Man, followed by Italy, Sweden and Norway. And the beautiful hills in the background, showing you this lovely setting. See, Desert Springs is the name. Very dry land around, but this oasis of green here at the cricket ground, and also the rather splendid 18-hole golf course is at this resort. Kieran Deep Cower is going to bowl the last over, or is bowling the last over of this match. And pushed away, hit away smartly through the covers. Right. Naomi Hillman Bermejo. Muskan Nasib, who really has struggled. Wouldn't it be lovely to see her just get a boundary away in this last over of the match? Takes a wide on that occasion. Though, as I spoke to Kasim earlier, there is a free opportunity to hit a boundary there. That was a great opportunity for a boundary. But decided just to take the run in the extra wide. I think I might have had a dart at the boundary. Half-hearted LBW appeal from that ball. So, one ball to come in this match. You can see on your screen the rather unlikely run rate required of 582 per over. It indicates the margin between these two sides. There's an appeal to finish this match. Not out, but that is it. Italy will remain top of the table in this pentagonal women's T20 International tournament, courtesy of the ICC, and the flag is out in the middle as the subs bring us out so that they can celebrate with their fielders. There's the summary of the match. Sharon Wittanaga with 51 and Amelia Bartram with 22 not out, along with captain 19 not out, the major contributors. And there's confirmation. Italy, 4 matches played, 4 matches won, and a net run rate of exactly 4. Spain, well, they'll be slightly disappointed that having won the majority of their matches, they've actually ended up with a negative run rate, largely due to that last match we've just seen, and also due to an earlier victory by Duckworth Lewis, which often doesn't have a big impact on the net run rate. Still got one match to come, and that will be the battle for 3rd position. Whoever wins between Isle of Man and Sweden will gain the middle position of 3rd, relegating the others to 4th. Norway, unfortunately, didn't manage to get over the line in any of their 4 matches, but as discussed with their director of cricket earlier, will take a lot away from this one. So that summary again, just showing you the difference between the two sides. 2 for 6 for Captain Pedrick, and generally very economical figures, just going for 2.65 runs per over the 20 overs. So Spain coming a distant 2nd in this one. They again will have learnt a lot. They're out there with their flag. They're still happy, and that's the way of the game. It's time for me to sign off for now. I've been pressed into service due to illness in the umpiring ranks. I hope to be back to you in time for the presentation, if allowed. Meanwhile, it's me, Andrew Elliott, signing off, thanking you for listening. Neil Brook will be up with you for the next game, and we'll see you then.